what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Lauren. Any clergy members here for a quick invocation? Any clergy members? A quick one. Okay. Roll call, we have to establish a quorum. As I'm doing that, will the ward leaders please bring their sign-in sheet to the table on my left? See Tom Meyer Jr. We can't go any further until we stop the sign-in process and get those names up here. In the meantime, I'll call the wards. The ward leader, just say present, so I know we have at least 7 wards here. First ward. First ward. Here. Second ward. Here. Third ward. Fourth ward. Fifth ward. Sixth ward. Just the ward leaders, please. 7th ward. 8th ward. 9th ward. 10th ward. 11th ward. 12th ward. And by the looks of it, we have more than 25 people here, so a quorum is present without objection. Okay, please bring your sign-in sheets up to Tom Meyer Jr. As we're doing that, we're going to try to progress. I'll ask the secretary to come up and read the call to the convention.
You're receiving this letter as a county committee member of the Democratic Party of the City of Yonkers, County of Westchester, with notification being duly given, a city convention of the Yonkers Democratic Committee is hereby called for the purposes of nominating and endorsing candidates for office and for such other purposes as noted in the agenda below. The city convention is hereby called for the following date, time, and location: 6 p.m. on Wednesday, February 5th, 2020, to be held at Royale, 92 Waverly Street, Yonkers, New York, 10701. Board leaders are requested to arrive by 5:30 to prepare for registration and voting. District leaders are asked to begin arriving at 5:45 and sign in before 6 p.m. Those who cannot attend may submit a proxy to cast their vote. All proxies must be filed between 5:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. on Tuesday, February 4th, 2020 at 92 Waverly Street, Yonkers, New York, 10701. Proxies can be examined that same day and time. Challenges to proxies, if any, shall be presented to the chairperson at that time. The chairman may rule on objections, if any, that day. The chairman may appoint any executive committee member to act on his behalf. Appeals from any ruling may only be made to the city at the city convention. Each candidate must be nominated and seconded by a member of the Yonkers Democratic Committee. Nomination speeches shall not exceed 2 minutes per candidate. All seconds shall be from the floor, not a speech. After nominations are closed, the nominees will be given the opportunity to address the city committee. Nominees shall not speak longer than 2 minutes. After the candidates speak, the city committee shall vote pursuant to the bylaws. If there are more than 2 candidates for a particular office, The voting shall continue until one candidate has more than 50% of the vote. The candidate with the least votes in each round shall be eliminated from the next round of voting. Note that the chair may turn any portion of the meeting over to a presiding officer. The agenda is a call to order, pledge of allegiance, roll call, nomination and endorsement of candidates for U.S. Representative for NY16 Congressional District, State Senator in Districts 35 and 37, Assembly Member in District 89 and 90, and Yonkers City Court Judge, which there are 3 vacancies. Then we vote, and a motion to adjourn will follow. Thank you.
Any questions on the call to order, call to convention? Any questions? Now's the time. Okay, in general, what we're going to do is we have a member of Congress, we have 2 state senators, 2 state assembly people. Only 1 state assembly person falls solely in the city limits of Yonkers. So that is the only one that we can formally endorse. But we're also here tonight to endorse those other candidates. So we'll get through them as quickly as possible, and then we'll get to our sole assemblyman in the city of Yonkers, and then we'll get to the judges. Before I do that, let me read, at the last executive committee meeting, actually 2 meetings ago in December, the executive committee formed 2 ad hoc committees right now. One is the Women's Committee of the Yonkers Democratic Committee. Good clap. It's about time. They're having their first organizational meeting Wednesday, February 19th, 2020 at 6 p.m. at the Grittenwill Library, 1500 Central Park Avenue. Contact Christine Peters. Christine, could make it smaller? At Christine Peters at Gmail. That seems to be the address I can read here. But she's here. Stand up. Where is she? I heard her voice. Okay. Back there at the second board table. So if you have any questions, ask her. She put some flyers out on the table. If you're not interested, because she only had a limited amount of copies, if you're not interested, pass it on to someone who is. Christine Peters is the chair of that committee. Tom Meyer Jr. is the vice chair. We also created a committee to help us understand and support the complete count for Census 2020. Eileen O'Connor has been heading that up. Eileen, what's the latest date that you set up for the district leader training? You already had one. February 27th. February 27th. Where and at what time? Caroline Stern's house again. Thank you again for your hospitality. So if you're actually, I'm not going to ask if you're interested. Everybody in this room should be interested in getting a complete count. There's so much federal dollars that depend on that. Our representation to Congress depends on that. So we need to count every single body, and we need to help. And that's what we're doing. Thank you, Eileen. Give it up for her. And the team that's been working with her, Cal, and everyone else who's been putting that together. Okay, for our first nomination, the chair recognizes Mayor Mike Spano.
Thank you, leader, and good evening, everyone. And when the leader spoke about the census, let's really remember that. You know, this year, Yonkers has the opportunity to maybe overtake the city of Rochester and become the third largest city in the state, entire state of New York. So let's make sure that everyone is counted. Let's make sure that we all work together to make that happen. And I know the county has an effort, the city will have an effort as well, and we're all going to be working in an effort to make sure that everyone has their voices heard. So census tracts that will allow us to get additional federal aid, state aid, that will allow us to redraw the lines, the legislative lines, congressional lines, even the city council lines. So let's make sure we do that. And I know that I can't speak long, so I'm going to make the nomination for the 17th Congressional District in the name of Elliot Engel. We all know Elliot. We know 16th, sorry. Thought I had it wrong. You did. Okay. But in the 16th, we all know Elliot Engel. We know how hard he works for us. I can tell you, as a mayor, he's somebody who has progressive values that we all want in a leader, somebody who is there, somebody who is committed to the cause of taking care of our communities. When Yonkers needs some help in Washington, we can always count on Elliot Engel to be there. He's a true believer and somebody that is going to continue to represent us well. So I'd like to ask, or put in nomination for Congress for the 16th Congressional District, Elliot Engel.
Thank you, Mayor Spano. The chair recognizes Gilbert Kearson for a second. Second? Say second? Second. Got it. You're in. Are there any other nominations for the office of Congressman for the 16th County Legislative, 16th Congressional District? Are there any other nominations for the position of Congress for the 16th Congressional District? Are there any other nominations for the position of Congress for the 16th Congressional District? Motion by Ken Jenkins to close. Second by Keisha Skipper. When you make a motion or second, please stand up so we get your name on the record. Keisha, I can barely see you too. So stand up. We'll recognize you. We'll get your name on the record. The motion's been made and second. All in favor of closing nominations, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Motion to close nominations is carried. I'll entertain a motion for the secretary to cast one ballot. Motion made by Deputy Mayor Steve Levy. Second. Second by who? Jose Alvarado. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Congressman Elliot Engel. You've been fully endorsed by the entire city of Yonkers. And first order of business is complete. It's now my pleasure to recognize the Deputy County Executive, former Chairman of the City of Yonkers, Ken Jenkins, for the purpose of nomination.
All right, good evening, Democrats. Wow. It's a convention. Good evening. Good evening. It is so good to be here in Yonkers this evening. I have the distinct privilege to nominate for New York State Senate, 35th Senate District, our great friend, the leader of the New York State Democratic, the New York State Senate, Andrea Stewart-Cousins. Certainly in the towns of Greenburgh and White Plains, as well as her representation. She has made sure to lead the fight. Mayor Spano continues to say to bring the dollars home for the city of Yonkers with the state delegation, to make sure that she's fighting hard for each and every person in the 35th State Senate District. Andrea is a leader. We know that she's done a fantastic job, and it is a privilege for me to put her name in nomination this evening for re-election to New York State Senate. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The chair recognizes another former chair of the Democratic City Committee, Senator Brendon.
I rise to second the nomination.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Are there any other nominations for Senator of the 35th Senate District? Are there any other nominations for Senator for the 35th Senate District? Are there any other nominations for Senator for the 35th Senate District?
Chairman,
Hearing
there being
none.
no other nominations, I make a motion to move to close the nominations.
Made a motion to close nominations. Do I have a second? Second, Wilson Kimball. All those in favor of closing nominations, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. I will now entertain a motion for the secretary to cast one ballot. I'm sorry. Without objection, I would like to nominate our other senator for the 37th Senate District. Hold those nominations and vote on them together. Without objection?
Without objection.
Okay. So at this time, I would like to recognize Tom Meyer Jr. for the purpose of nomination. While he's getting his notes together, I'd just like to, I'm trying to save time here, I'd like to recognize one of our candidates for Supreme Court from the neighboring village of Hastings, Veronica Hummel. Say hello. Wave and wherever you are.
Good evening. I'm honored to stand here in front of you to ask for the endorsement of the Yonkers Democratic Committee for Senator Shelley Mayer. Shelley has demonstrated her commitment to democratic issues for well before our friendship began. Over the years, she's been a great advocate for the city of Yonkers, especially when it comes to education issues in public schools. Most importantly, for our children with special needs. I ask you tonight to endorse Shelley as she continues to fight for us in Albany. We understand the difficult task at hand as education chair, and we encourage you to continue the good fight. Thank you for all you do, and will continue to do for Yonkers. I'm proud to nominate Senator Shelley Mayer for our committee's endorsement here tonight.
Thank you, Tom. The chair recognizes Suzanne Slosberg. Suzanne seconds the nomination for Shelley Mayer for another term as senator. Are there any other nominations for the position of senator of the 37th Senatorial District of New York? Any other nominations for the office of senator? Any other nominations for the office of senator?
Mr. Chairman, I'll rise again to make a motion to close nominations.
Deputy Mayor Steve Levy makes a motion, second by Wilson Torero. All those in favor of closing nominations, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Was that a nay? I want to make sure you record it. Okay. That was not a nay. The ayes have it. Nominations are closed. I will now entertain a nomination for the secretary to cast one ballot for each of the candidates for the 35th and 37th senatorial districts of the state of New York. Motion made by Ken Jenkins. Second by Sheila Greenwald. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say a loud no. Good. The ayes have it. Congratulations to our Senate Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart Cousins, and Senator Shelley Mayer. Normally we hear from the candidates, especially once we nominate them. We'll understand that Congressman Engel is down in Washington, D.C. doing the people's business there. And likewise, Senator Cousins and Senator Mayer are up in Albany doing our business in Albany. Senator Cousins called me about an hour ago and told me there was no way she was going to be able to get down here. She was very apologetic. And I kind of made a little quick jab and said, well, you guys changed the rules and made us do this earlier. We normally do it in April. But she quickly reminded me that the changes that were made last year are for the good of openness and inclusion for all people of the state of New York. And those changes are good. And although we're still trying to get used to them, having conventions in January and February, and getting petitions ready at the end of February and walking them in March and turning them in April, where it's still cold out, is a little foreign to us. But we're good Democrats, so we're going to put on another layer of clothing. We're going to go out and we're going to carry their petitions for our senators and our assembly people and our judges that we're about to elect, as we just did for, hopefully, one of our successful opponents to that guy down in Washington who's living at the White House right now. I don't even want to dignify him with the title, the White House occupant, the illegal occupant of the White House. So that's 3 days down. Oh, sorry, Senator, we didn't endorse you. Everyone, Senator Shelley Mayer. We did just endorse you, Senator. Come say a quick word.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That was it. 80 miles an hour from Albany with no going to the bathroom, so I tried my very best. Thank you all for the great honor of allowing me to continue to run as a Democrat from Yonkers. I couldn't be more honored to serve, to fight for the Democratic Party. This is a moment, after today's vote, we stand up proudly to be Democrats. We have a lot to fight for. We're accomplishing so much in the state Senate with the leadership of Andrea, and I'm just deeply honored. Thank you for the opportunity to always be a Yonkers person and represent a great district. Thank you.
Senator, we're honored that you got right into your car and headed down here and right over to stand with us and stand with the district leaders. I was just talking about how we'll be going out to getting petitions signed soon in the cold weather, but that won't stop us. We'll get the job done. The chair now recognizes Roberta Robinson for the purpose of nomination. I see Councilman John Rubo is here. I see Councilman Shanae Williams is here. Did I say Councilman? Councilwoman, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Tasha Diaz is here. Well, I'm just maximizing the use of our time. Roberta,
Good evening, fellow Democrats.
good evening.
It is my honor to place in nomination J. Gary Pretlow, Assemblyman for the 89th Assembly District. He continuously works for our city, and he brings money into our city for education, and he sponsors many, many bills that affect all of us. And I feel that it's important that we keep him in the Assembly and that we re-elect him. So, please, this evening, vote for J. Gary Pretlow, Assemblyman of the 89th District. He has served us well and wishes to continuously serve us well. He is still in Albany and not here tonight, but he thanks you for your vote and for your consideration, and I thank you very much. Good evening, fellow Democrats.
Thank you to our 3rd Ward Leader, Roberta Robinson. I'd like to recognize the 9th Ward Leader, J.T. Scott. Got a second from J.T. Scott. Any other nominations for Assembly? Any other nominations for Assembly? Any other nominations for Assembly? Hearing none, Chair recognizes John Rubo with motion to close nominations. Second? Who?
Me.
Your name? Tarek Duffy. On the motion to close nominations, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Okay, before we take a vote, I'd like to do the same thing with the, actually let's vote on that because that one's not official. The next one is fully official we wanted to stand on its own. So I will entertain a motion for the secretary to cast one ballot for James Gary Pretlow for assembly. Motion made. Do I hear a second? Eileen O'Connor, second. Eileen, second. All those in favor for the secretary to cast one ballot for James Gary Pretlow for assembly of New York State, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Assemblyman Pretlow did text me earlier, said he was occupied up in Albany, some kind of committee meeting, some kind of vote and interviews. I don't think it was the same as the senator, something different, but he was not going to be able to get down here in time. The chair at this time recognizes Councilwoman Tasha Diaz for the purpose of nomination. Councilwoman Diaz. Okay, as she's working her way up, I understand the majority leader is here, Corazon. You get Councilwoman Corazon Pineda-Isaac. We have a seat for you up here. And our new county legislator from Yonkers and Bronxville, Ruth Walter, is here. Come on, you can do better than that. We got our old county legislator back there, over there on the bottom. Stand up, go there. Good job. Floor is yours.
Good evening, fellow Democrats. My name is Tasha Diaz, and I'm the newly elected Yonkers City Councilwoman for the 3rd District. This evening, I'm here to nominate a friend, a colleague, and a professional of mine, Assemblyman Nader J. Sage, to the office of New York State Assembly Member for the 90th Legislative District. Throughout this city, many places remain untouched by the decisive leadership of Assemblyman Sage. In his first 2 years in office, Assemblyman Nader Sage has brought forth a new era of strong and effective advocacy for the city of Yonkers. As the chair of the Education Committee for the city of Yonkers, I've had the opportunity of seeing him successfully fight for additional funding for our students. Last year, Yonkers was the recipient of over $20 million, which successfully averted layoffs for dozens of educators and support staff. Earlier this month, Assemblyman Sage also secured nearly $1 million in grant funding to renovate the aging auditoriums at the Yonkers and Lincoln High School. In Albany, Nader Sage has fashioned himself into being one of the most visible lawmakers of the Assembly. Assemblyman Sage has proven himself to be a steadfast supporter of the Democratic Conference. Nader Sage has supported legislation that will protect our environment, enshrine the rights of women, protect the marginalized, and promote a justice agenda for the betterment of all New Yorkers. Assemblyman Sage has authored dozens of bills and co-sponsored over 500. Through his support of the Westchester County Taxpayers Protection Act, property taxes in Westchester County will remain flat for the next few years. He has also supported the enactment of the 2% property tax cap, which ensures that homeowners will never face an exorbitant tax increase one year to the next. Assemblyman Sage proposed a bill which would create an enhanced driver's license identification card for New Yorkers with autism spectrum disorder, and a bill to provide language translators at polling sites. In Yonkers, Assemblyman Sage has made himself a fixture of community events and to recognize the work across Yonkers. Above all, Assemblyman Sage understands that the job isn't yet done. He understands that we must hold New York State accountable and ensure that they are upholding their end of the bargain on everything from schools to roads. That's why we need him back in Albany to continue to fight for our children, our families, and our schools, and also our communities. That is why I, Tasha Diaz, am nominating Nader Sage for re-election.
Chair recognizes former Councilman Wilson Terrero
Second.
for a second. Are there any other nominations for Assembly? Are there any other nominations for Assembly?
Chairman, I move that we close nominations.
Okay, one too short. Any other nominations from the floor for Assembly? If not hearing any, I recognize Jeremiah Jerome. Now, Jerry.
I move it, Chairman.
Motion made by Jeremiah Jerome to close nominations. Do I hear a second? I hear a second. Jeffrey Sage. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. I will entertain a motion for the Secretary to cast one ballot for Nader Sage for the Assembly of New York State. A motion made by Wilson Kimball, second by Jeremiah Jerome. All those in favor of the Secretary casting one ballot for Nader Sage for Assembly of New York State representing Yonkers, 90th AD, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Please welcome Assemblyman Nader Sage for his 1-minute speech. I got a hook here, so.
Well, good evening, Democrats. You know, when you're an attorney and you're an educator for 40 years, we get into the habit of public speaking. And for me as an educator and being the Assemblyman, I was very proud to work with one of the most dynamic group of delegate members, working with Senator Shelley Mayer and working with the majority leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, and fellow Assemblyman Gary Pretlow. I had the pleasure of being part of a powerful delegation that represents the best interest of Yonkers. And we went on with a Democrat majority in the Assembly, the Senate, and at the governor's level to make sure that social agendas and issues, progressive issues, women's rights, labor rights, the rights of working men and women, and most important, the healthcare profession and the needs of individuals with Medicaid and other forms, and especially education. This is our biggest advocacy, to make sure that Yonkers kids get their fair share of funding. So I'm proud to be nominated by the Yonkers Democrat Committee, and especially my gratitude to all the elected officials that are here, to all the district leaders, and especially to my dear friend Chairman Tommy Meyer and the rest of the executive committee. I congratulate all the nominees, and it's my pleasure to go back and continue to work my fullest to protect the best interest of Yonkers and each and every one of our residents. God bless.
You don't have to drive back to Albany tonight, do you? Is Judge Quinones here? He was here. Judge Quinones is running for family court, county family court. There he is. Tom, Judge, say hello. Come on in, say hello. Hey, Judge Quinones running for family court. He can make his rounds, come to political functions. Just so everybody knows, we have 2 incumbent family court candidates that were endorsed by the county, Judge Michelle Schaefer and Judge Schauer. What did I say, Schaefer? Schaefer was the beer my father used to drink. I didn't drink that. I drank Wango, I think. Anyway, too much information. Michelle Schauer and Judge Nilda Morales-Horowitz are the incumbents. They're the ones that the party endorsed at the county. But Judge Quinones is seeking that position in the future. So are a couple of other judges, Joyce Epps, and
Fury.
Kerry Fiore. Also, they were seeking a nomination, they stepped down so that they can actively campaign for any future positions. I see a hand waving there. Oh, Marianne Elizabeth Scataratico, neighbor. Judge, our newest family court judge. How are you feeling, Judge? You're alive, okay. Judge was feeling a little under the weather last week. Good to see you here. I think I introduced most of the people here, but former council people that are here. Simmer Brandon, Wilson Terrero, I introduced. Bob Storff sang the national anthem. Lorraine Lopez is here. Lorraine, say hello. We have Christopher Johnson, our county legislator. We have seats up here for all the elected officials, so if you want to come up and sit down and make it easier for me to see you. Former City Council President and City Chair Chuck Lesnick. Here he is. Missing anyone? Okay, we're about to open up the process of nomination for City Court Judge. The count over the last several months, starting back in September, when candidates started appearing before the executive committee, has varied. So if I do not include your name here, just let me know. But I want to be fair to everybody. Some people are running, again, just to get online, just to work the crowd for future openings. Some people will be nominated tonight in hopes of getting enough votes to get on the ballot. But I'm going to be fair and introduce all of them. And then we'll open up the nomination process. Judge Tom Daly. Judge Brendon Mcgrath. Vera Shako. Dan Mamano. Alan Gray. Please stand up so that everybody can see you. Whether you're going to go forward tonight or not, I want the Democratic district leaders to see who you are and an opportunity to meet you, and depending on what happens tonight, talk to you anyway. Mike Ashraf. Alison Burke. Claudia Cacase. Jerry Cabrero. Marianne Leibowitz. Karen Best. These are the candidates who have been working for the last 6 months to call you, to call award leaders, to mail to you, to attend events, to shake your hand, to try to persuade you to vote for them. And that makes our democratic process and our Democratic Party stronger. So please give them all a round of applause before you can sit down, before we go into the battle mode, okay? And my only hope is that after this is over, we leave here still as friends. Only 3 people are going to get nominated tonight. There's only 3 positions that are open. And as you can see, there's several people that have been expressed interest in becoming a city court judge. So not everybody's going to be victorious tonight, but I applaud you for putting your name forward, for having the courage to do that, for reaching out to us, and for participating in the democratic process. So in order to speak, our rules state that you must be nominated by a district leader and seconded. Then we'll have those who are nominated and seconded come up and speak. If anybody plans on withdrawing before the vote, please include that in your speech. If not, we'll vote on all the candidates, and we'll keep voting until there's clear majorities on who our candidates for city court judge will be. Any questions on the process? Many of you have been through this before, so you know the deal. So with that, we'll start. Are there any nominations for the position of City Court Judge in the City of Yonkers? The Chair recognizes Senator Shelley Mayer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my honor to place in nomination the name of Judge Tom Daly for City Court Judge. Since 2000, Judge Daly has served on the bench with distinction as a person of honor, a person of integrity who knows his job is to give out justice. He's also a lifelong Democrat, has been part of a Democratic tradition, represents the best in our Yonkers City Court, has been a personal friend and a supporter of many of our Democratic candidates to the extent that he could outside of his judicial position. And he really represents the finest of our Democratic tradition. I look forward to not only his nomination tonight, his election, and then his ascension to being the Chief Judge of the Yonkers City Court, the place where most of our residents have their first exposure to both our criminal and civil justice system. It is the most important place where we educate people about the importance of justice and what it means. So it's my honor to place in the name of nomination the Honorable Judge Tom Daly.
Thank you, Senator. Is there a second?
Yeah, Andrea Brown, second the nomination.
Thank you. Madam President of Lackawanna Women's Democratic Club. Oh, free publicity. Are there any other nominations for City Court Judge? Councilman?
Good evening, fellow district leaders. It is my honor to nominate Don Romano for City Court Judge. I believe that many of us know Dan and his family by reputation. The Romano family has been active in the Yonkers legal community for many years. Dan has carried forward his family's excellent legacy with great distinction. Dan has been a practicing attorney in our great city of Yonkers for over 30 years and has earned a reputation of integrity, compassion, and exceptional legal experience. No one knows the city of Yonkers, the city court better than Dan Romano. I am confident that he will serve on the city bench with great honor. Dan's passion for the law and public service, as well as the integrity and extensive legal knowledge, will make sure that everyone in Yonkers gets a fair day in court. Dan is a family man who will bring integrity, fairness, and compassion to the Yonkers City Court. I couldn't be more proud to nominate him for our party's endorsement. As a longtime Democratic district leader, I can tell you that Dan has stood with our party and candidates on countless occasions in the past, and now we have the opportunity to stand with him. I know that Dan is going to give this race his all and will make our party and our city proud. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, please accept my nomination of Dan Romano for Yonkers City Court Judge.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there a second?
I second that.
Your name, sir? Julio Rojas. Seconds it. Thank you, sir. I think there's another name of somebody I heard was running for judge, or at least wants to run for judge in the future. Steve Rubio? Are you running? You're considering? Okay. I want to be fair. I want to get everybody's name out there. That's what this process is about. So, there's another name for the future.
I have a nomination.
Another nomination. So nomination, Chair recognizes Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is a privilege to stand before you this evening and nominate for election my good friend, Judge Brendon Mcgrath. Judge Mcgrath was appointed by the Honorable Mayor Mike Spano this January to take the place of Mary Ann Elizabeth Scatteratical neighbor on her city court judge position. But Brendon is not a stranger to us in Yonkers. Let's go back to Brendon's history. Brendon started off as a legislative director and spent 11 years working in the New York State Assembly. Brendon served this party when we didn't win as Democrats and ran for county legislator and tried to make sure to uphold and did uphold that Democratic banner. He's been a deputy county clerk. He's been a deputy county attorney and working in the Westchester County Attorney's Office. He served here as the Deputy Corporation Counsel, and he ended up as the Yonkers Inspector General. Brendon Mcgrath and Judge Brendon Mcgrath has the judicial temperament that we all see each and every day. I know Brendon for several years. He has put his time in to this Yonkers Democratic Party, and it's my privilege tonight to place his name in nomination for election, Judge Brendon Mcgrath.
Is there a second? Chair recognizes Carlos Moran, Vice Chair of the party.
I second the nomination.
Carlos Moran seconds the nomination. Thank you. Are there any other nominations?
Yeah, I got a nomination.
Chair recognizes Tom Meyer Jr.
Thank you, Tom Meyer Sr. All right, good evening, guys. Let's make this short. Thank you for joining us here tonight. I met Veris 10 years ago at a Yonkers convention. How convenient, huh? She was interested in the process and wanted to become a district leader. In 2010, she carried petitions and became a district leader in the 12th Ward. She has stayed involved politically and civically in the city of Yonkers. She has worked on campaigns and been involved in the Democratic Party through the years. As a ward leader, thank you for your commitment. Veris is no stranger to conventions like this one tonight. She has participated in the process and has, like many of us, spent late nights away from our family to endorse our Democratic candidates. I was excited when she told me she was interested in running for city court judge. Even though I'd known her for 10 years, I had to do my homework about her. I had to do my homework about her qualifications on being a judge. I had asked her colleagues about her and received nothing but great reviews about her work. I realized how experienced and prepared she was to serve as Yonkers City Court judge. Honestly, I was extremely impressed. She has well over a decade of experience in city and county court. Her commitment to Yonkers is second to none. Most importantly, Veris Shako is qualified, experienced, and ready to serve the people of Yonkers in a very busy city court. Tonight, I encourage you to vote for Veris Shako. I am excited and proud to nominate Veris B. Shako for Yonkers City Court Judge.
Thank you. Is there a second? There's several seconds. F.P. Phillips. Oh, I'm sorry. Roberta. Roberta Robinson seconds the nomination. For those keeping score at home, that's 4. Are there any other nominations for City Court Judge? Christine Peters.
Sorry, you'll have to deal with me a little bit. I'm coughing, sorry. I would like to nominate Alison Burke for City Court Judge. I stand before you not only as a single parent who was a district leader, Sorry. Can you hear me now? Yep. Okay. If I cough, I apologize. I would like to nominate Alison Burke for City Court Judge. I stand before you not only as a single parent who is a district leader, a working mother, and a fellow community member who cares about our city, but also as someone who takes each and every single vote I cast as a district leader extremely seriously. That being said, I would like to not only ask for you to cast your vote for Alison because she's a well-qualified individual who shows strength of character and takes her responsibilities seriously. She also has a unique perspective as a single parent, much like myself. The weight of independent parenthood is a perspective that you would have to experience to fully understand. And someone who can bring that level of empathy to the court system is invaluable. As Democrats, I think we should seek out every new perspective and empower more diverse views for all levels and branches of elected office. Most of you know that I'm a social worker, and I have worked with hundreds of children over the years. I can say from my work experience, no two families are alike, and family court sees more of the most complex issues we have to resolve as a society. Allison was a trial attorney who handled some of the most challenging child abuse and neglect cases. She also handled matters that were appealed to the Appellate Division's Second Department, and knows and understands the law so well that she was an adjunct professor and a published author. Currently, she's a county court attorney in Westchester Family Court. We all know that Yonkers is a beautiful city full of character, and we need a city court judge that can adapt with the changing complexity of our city's dynamics. I close by asking you to cast your vote for Alison Burke. She's a resident of Yonkers for over 10 years. She is invested and immersed in the community, has experience with challenging situations, and can adjust to the new and ever-changing circumstances as necessary. Her son attends the Yonkers Public Schools, and she's just an all-around good person who shows strength of character. Thank you.
Is there a second?
I need a name.
Okay, that is number 5. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Chair recognizes a motion to close nominations. Motion made. Jose. Second? Yeah, second. Second, Don Lincoln. All in favor on the motion to close nominations, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Again, thank you to all the candidates who have been going around and making their desires known to run for judge. But we wind up with 1, 2, 3, 4 candidates. 5 candidates, I'm sorry.
6.
5.
3, 4, 5. We have 5 candidates.
Judge Daly, Judge McGrath, Vershako, Dan Romano, Alison Burke. Did I miss anyone?
No.
Okay. At this time, we'll hear from the candidates. I put their name on a piece of paper. I guess that one will be first. Judge Daly.
At least you didn't use any apps. Come on, you guys are supposed to know all about apps. I want to thank, first of all, Senator Mayer, Andrea Brown for seconding, and a very important district leader in this room, my wife, Carol, who got me literally, I'd be nowhere without her. And It's actually very exciting to be in front of you after 10 years, as you know. For 10 years, I could do nothing politically except sit at home and listen to Carol tell me stories about what was going on. So at least I was kept informed. And you all know, if you received my letter, you know how I feel about my court and the people who work in it. I love the Yonkers City Court. I love what we do for the citizens of Yonkers. And I just would like your support to continue doing it for as long as I can. And next year, as Shelley indicated, if all goes well, I'll be chief judge. And then I can help face the challenges that we do from new legislation with the support of, as again, my wonderful staff of people and with the support of all of you in the upcoming election, which I hope to be victorious. And thank you all very much.
Why should I pick that, Mr. Chairman?
So I could be as fair as possible. Brendon Mcgrath.
Good evening, everyone. I am truly honored to be here tonight in front of all of you. I want to thank Ken Jenkins for that nomination. It was really heartfelt, Ken. Thank you very much. Carlos, I want to thank you for the second. I want to thank all the district leaders for being here tonight, for listening to me, and for keeping an open mind during this convention. The last time I sought this committee's nomination, as Ken mentioned, was for county legislator back in 2005. And while that race did not go the way I wanted it to, I had the opportunity to get out there and meet many of you. I was proud of myself during that campaign, and I learned what it was like to run a campaign in the city of Yonkers. It's not easy, but it is fulfilling. Even losing that race, I felt fulfilled in the people I met, the connections I made, and what I learned about the city of Yonkers. Following that race, I heard from many of you who gave me words of encouragement, and that meant so much to me. And it still does to this day. As a Democrat, I served as a district leader, assisting numerous candidates in petitioning, canvassing, and fundraising. And I've served as a judicial delegate, so I know what it's like to be in the trenches. My experience at the state, county, and local levels of government offers me a unique perspective as I sit on the bench. As a legislative director and counsel to the New York State Assembly Committee on Veterans Affairs, I saw firsthand the struggles of those members of the military returning home from active duty. And we worked hard to provide them with services, including jobs and employment, and educational opportunities. As an assistant county attorney, I represented the Department of Social Services, much like Alison Burke, in cases involving child abuse and neglect. The CPS workers in those cases were on the front lines of protecting our children and ensuring that families had the resources necessary to succeed. In that position, I sat on the Yonkers Truancy Reduction Task Force, which focused on its efforts to remove obstacles that prevented at-risk youth from attending school regularly. I also sat on the Domestic Violence Task Force, where we addressed issues such as electronic orders of protection to ensure that local police departments had the most up-to-date information to better protect victims of domestic violence. As Inspector General of the City of Yonkers, I was responsible for protecting taxpayer dollars. So if you're a parent or a teacher, or if your kids take the buses to school, if you're a landlord or you're a tenant, it was my office that protected you by ensuring that city officials and city vendors did their job correctly and within the bounds of the law. As IG, I also reviewed the finances of community-based organizations. And it was here I learned the lifeblood of Yonkers, organizations like Youth Theater Interactions, Today's Students, Tomorrow's Teachers, the St. Peter's Child Care Center, just to name a few. I met with these groups, and I learned how incredibly important they are to the city of Yonkers. I bring all these experiences to the bench with me, and it gives me tremendous perspective. It also gives me an appreciation for the people who seek justice before the Yonkers City Court. I humbly accept this nomination and respectfully ask for your support. Thank you, and good night.
Dan Romano.
Thank you. Wilson, thank you. That was a great introduction. Friends, district leaders, and fellow Democrats, it's an honor for me to stand before you and my candidacy for Yonkers City Court Judge. For those who don't know me, my name is Dan Romano. I was born in Yonkers, I was raised in Yonkers, I raised my family in Yonkers, and I practiced law in Yonkers for over 30 years. I like to bring my experience, over 30 years of experience and my passion for community service to the Yonkers City Court bench. I've seen firsthand as a trial attorney over the last 30 years the challenges that face the Yonkers City Court and the local courts. We need experienced, practical, and knowledgeable judges serving on the bench. This is my first campaign. I am not a career politician. To a lot of people in this room, I'm an outsider. But I know what we need. We need experienced judges, people who have seen every type of law imaginable within the system in the state of New York. Like my father before me, John Romano, who many of you know, and my brothers, I've spent a considerable amount of my legal career giving back to the community and helping the less fortunate. As your next city court judge, my #1 priority will be that everyone gets a fair day in court. Not just the wealthy or the well-connected. I'm well aware of what a good judge is capable of. I'm well aware of the difference between a good judge and those that are not. The effect they can have on a family or a business and the community in general. I've always supported the mission and the candidates of the Yonkers Democratic Party. I've backed countless Democratic candidates from this city. I'm looking forward to running a very positive campaign focused on the issues faced by our community and the courts. I plan on working as hard as I can to make my vision of the Yonkers City Court a reality. Thank you so much.
Alison Burke.
Hear me? Yes. All right. First, I want to thank Christine for that lovely nomination and for Mary Kate for seconding the nomination. As most of you probably received my letter and my resume already, I explained in my letter that what I think is important for all of you tonight to focus on when choosing a judge is 3 different things: credentials, commitment, and character. And I think I encompassed all of those things. And if you read my resume and you heard what Christine had to say, you can see that I have the credentials to be a judge. I spent 10 years in the county attorney's office, 7 of those doing child abuse and neglect proceedings in very complex cases, very sensitive cases. We had to balance the safety of children with the constitutional rights of parents. And that's something that happens every day in city court on a different level. People are coming to you in crisis, whether they're about to be evicted or they're about to face incarceration. And you need to be able to apply both that strength and that compassion. And the strength being keeping the community safe and abiding by the law, but also being compassionate to people's situations and understanding the needs of the community. I also have the commitment in many areas of my life. I have been committed to various organizations throughout Yonkers and throughout Westchester County. I've served as president of the Ladies Ancient Order of Hibernians. I've received 3 proclamations from our wonderful mayor from 2014 on. And I've also been a committed person to democracy. I've been involved in several campaigns. I've gotten out there, I've canvassed, I've collected signatures, I've phone banked. So I know what it takes to run a campaign. And I also think you need to bring a certain energy when you're running your campaign. And this is an important year that we need to be bringing that energy to make sure that we get the vote. I also have a commitment to my family, especially my son. As you heard, I'm a single mother to a 4-year-old son, which can be challenging, especially when you're trying to do all of these other activities and succeed at your job. But I clearly have shown my commitment there as well. And last is character. Anybody who's worked with me or anybody who's spoken with me, hopefully, has the same opinion. I've been coined as a really nice person. I take that as a compliment. I think you can be a nice person, but also be a strong person. And I think that as a judge, I would make sure that I treated everybody that worked in the courtroom, from litigants, witnesses, court officers, staff, with the same level of dignity and respect. So with that, I leave the vote to you, and I hope you'll keep an open mind. I hope that you will also be mindful of the need for more presence of females on the bench. And if for some reason it doesn't happen for me tonight, I know I will see you again, so please don't forget. Okay, thank you. And good luck to all the candidates.
Thank you, Alison. And last but certainly not least, Vera Shako.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, Yonkers Democratic Party. It is my honor, my family's honor, and the honor of families just like mine, all across Yonkers, for me to be here and present before you tonight. I'm asking you to vote for me tonight, and I'm asking for the party's nomination because I've spent the last 15 years working in Yonkers City Court, the court I'm now running to be judge in. I have strong ties and commitment to Yonkers, and I've supported our party and our party's candidates. As I said, I've spent the last 15 years working in Yonkers City Court. I have the relevant experience for that court. I also bring 10 years of family court experience, advocating for parents, grandparents, and children in our family court here in Yonkers and throughout Westchester County. My 15 years in Yonkers City Court and Westchester courts taught me that being a lawyer is more than arguing in court. I think you can second me on that, Judge Daly. Thank you. And I learned that it's about taking the time to get to know people, to understand their lives and their perspectives, that it's about protecting the rights of our residents. I learned that we have more in common than we think, and we're more alike than we think. We all want to be safe in our communities, in our homes, and we want our children to be safe. I share those values with you, and that's why I'm asking you to vote for me. I have strong ties to the community. My husband, who's in the back, and I have lived here for over 16 years. We raised our 2 children here from birth. They both attend schools in Yonkers. My daughter is 6 and she's in a Yonkers public school. I've been the class parent, or class mother as some would call it, from day 1. And I will continue to be until she graduates. My son is in a pre-K3 program in a different school, and I'm also the class parent there, and I will continue to be until he graduates. I'm also a Girl Scout troop co-leader, preparing the next generation of future leaders. I'm looking at you. Brave, independent young women, like some of the women I see here, like all the women I see here in the audience. I've also supported our party. I've been a district leader. I've carried petitions. I've opened my pocketbook to fundraisers. I've gone to train stations and handed out advertisements. I have gone to festivals and given out advertisements. I have publicly supported our candidates And I've also privately supported them when people came to me and asked about our candidate. So I've also supported our party. But I think the main thing I want you to take away from my speech today and my presence here today is that I didn't come here by accident. I'm here today because of hard work, persistence, diligence, and a straight-up refusal to go away. You see, my kids, as you heard, my kids and my family are very important to me. And every time you saw me at an event, I was spending time away from them. Precious, valuable time that I'll never get back. And at first, I was doing it because I was pursuing a dream of having a seat on the bench in the court I've worked in for the last 15 years. But the more I attended the events, the more I came to realize that I was fighting for so much more. I was fighting for the goals, the dreams, and the desires of little boys and girls, teenagers, women like me, young families like mine, and so many others, so that they could see that with hard work, persistence, they too could achieve and be successful in our great city of Yonkers. Thank you.
Before I forget, I know the people closest to us, he's literally a block away from me. City Council President Mike Gator, making the rounds back there. He's been here, I just forgot to introduce him. A question appeared before me a little while ago. I'd like to recognize former City Council President, former City Chair Chuck Lesnick. No, he had a question.
Believe me, I'm not running for judge. My question was, we have a lot of talented people here, and there are a lot of resources that we have to spend for the election coming up. How many of the candidates running have committed to adhere to the outcome of this convention and not primary?
Did everybody get that question? I guess the basic question of, if you're a candidate for judge, the Democratic Party wants to know, will you abide by tonight's decision? To paraphrase. Judge?
Certainly.
Judge? Alison? Then she will not. Mr. Arnold? Dan? If you win, yes? Ferris? Yes? Did I miss anybody? All right, before I move forward, we have the nominations, they've been closed. At the county level, they allow a point of personal privilege for those candidates who wanted to back out and wanted one last opportunity to address this convention. Now, to be fair, there are some candidates who I've told their people, look, if they're not running, the rules of the convention state they need to be nominated, seconded, in order to get a bite at the mic. And to be fair, those are rules that are written and rewritten every year in our bylaws. There are some people who came here expecting one last bite at the mic. So I'm going to put it to the floor. Do you want to hear from the other judicial candidates that are here that just wish to formally drop out and let you know they're interested in your endorsement in the future? So, I won't even have just an informal survey. If you think we should give all the other candidates that are here an opportunity to say thank you, those are the names that I mentioned before that have been making the rounds. If you believe that in fairness we should listen to them, say aye. Aye. If you believe that what we have written and you need to be nominated and seconded in order to have a speech at the mic, say nay. Nay. The nays have it. I apologize. I recognized you in all fairness. We thank you for your commitment to partaking in the democratic process. I would like to take a moment to introduce another, he's kind of new to this. I think this is maybe his first time running. No, it's not. The Honorable Sam Walker, our New York State Supreme Court Justice, running for re-election. Come on, you can do better than that. Judge, for you, I'll yield a minute on the mic. I know you came here to announce your, I believe you came here to announce your intentions to run for re-election, and it's an honor to have you here in Yonkers.
Thank you very much. I can't believe that 14 years went by so quickly. It was 14 years ago that I appeared before this committee asking you for your support for the Supreme Court. And it's been a great 14 years, and I'm back before you again, asking you your permission, your support. But my speaking very briefly about my background, this is my 31st, I just completed 31 years. So this is my 32nd year. And in fact, I was the first Democrat of color to be elected to a countywide position in the East Coast. I believe, and I think my colleagues would agree that I have a vast amount of experience. I came up the old-fashioned way. I started at the local court, Mount Vernon City Court. I was a Yonkers Family Court judge. Then I was elected to the county court and then to the Supreme Court. So I learned that I got better as I went up the line. So now I'm prepared to serve you again in the Supreme Court. So how long do I have?
How long do you dare to speak?
I've tried just about everything that one can try as a judge. As I said, my experience is vast. Right now, I'm the supervising judge of the city courts in the 5 counties. I was president of the Westchester County Bar. I was on the Board of Legal Services. I sat on the Grievance Committee. I've done just about everything that one can do. And I'm just here today to ask you for your support again for Supreme Court. I won't stay for 14 more years because I don't want to die on the bench. But I just want another couple of more years to tie up my career and make plans for the future. So I'm asking you for your support, and thank you so much.